Hello again, I'm Blunty. Now, a lot of you out there will already be aware that the Australian government thinks it's just an absolute tops idea to follow in the footsteps of that shining example of freedom and openness, China, by installing a nationwide internet filter. You know, filter everything that comes into Australia through the internet. And I'm not going to discuss the pros and cons of that because, you know, lots of other people have done that far more eloquently than I can at the moment. You're probably also aware of a group that calls themselves Anonymous, which is a group of hackers and activists and all that sort of stuff. If you don't know about them, Google them or whatever, I don't know. Although I'm not sure what would happen if you just Googled Anonymous. That'd be weird. Anyway, they launched a form of protest yesterday and they performed a denial of service attack on a bunch of parliamentary and government websites, basically saying, "Oi, guys, pay attention, we have something to say on this issue. Woohoo! You need to listen to us because the blanket censorship thing is a bad idea. It will be too easy to abuse for censorship." Look, I told you I'm not going to get into the debate of why the internet filter is a bad idea. What I want to talk about is Anonymous's actions. The hearts are definitely in the right place. They're speaking for people like me, intelligent, free-thinking people who don't want the government deciding what we can and can't see through the internet. And worst of all, having a blacklist of sites that they don't even tell us what's on it. That's dangerous. But they've done something really, really stupid today. They've basically issued an ultimatum to the Australian government, and basically what it boils down to is forget about the internet filter, do what we say, or else. And when you think about that, that's a form of terrorism. And the government isn't going to respond to that. There is no way in hell that this stupid ultimatum can get the desired outcome. All it does is hurt the cause because it reflects poorly on the rest of us who are trying to approach this from a logical, intelligent angle and explain to the government why we want the things we want, and, you know, they're there to represent us and they should be listening to us. Just, you know, screaming in their faces, do what we want or else there'll be more trouble. We're going to cause lots of bad things to your website. That's stupid. Politicians, by their very nature, are incredibly stubborn people. If you do something like this, they become even more stubborn. Because, you know, the whole "we will not negotiate with terrorists" thing, that stands for acts like this as well. When you threaten to F shit up on them, they're not going to give in because it sets a really horrible precedent. You can get anything you want. You can make the government do anything as long as your actions are destructive enough. The government can't set that precedent. They cannot. It would just ruin shit. Anonymous have made our position weaker because of this stupid ultimatum that they've issued. Because it makes it even more difficult for the government to actually listen to us, because if they give in now, it's going to look like they gave in to these anonymous people threatening to, you know, screw up their websites. They've made it just such a more difficult proposition to get the government to listen to us and back down from their position. So please, if anyone from Anonymous who was involved with this, think about it, withdraw the ultimatum, keep going on the protests, you know, but don't do so in the manner you're doing it, because you're making it more difficult for the rest of us to get our message across, to argue this with logic and common sense. Your hearts are in the right place, but God save me, you've just made everything so much more difficult. The uphill battle we were fighting to get the government to listen to us and say, no, the blanket censorship filter thing, just like China, it's a bad thing. It can't possibly be a good thing for the Australian public, for democracy. I sound like Obi Wan. Democracy! I believe in the Republic! I believe in democracy! Sorry, I went off on a geek tangent there. But seriously, Anonymous, you've got to withdraw this ultimatum. You can't leave it like this because it just makes everything so much harder. Catch you next time. No effing censorship. Yes, that was intended to be ironic.